It is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker onto the stage. Please put your hands together for Carl Smith.
As a farmer, do you ever feel like you're going up a constant uphill? We've got rising prices, squeezing profits, crazy weather, a plethora of regulations and compliance you have to deal with it. And now adding to this, you've got this massive dark cloud of carbon accounting, emissions trading, and a lot of confusion. I know this is bothering a lot of farmers at the moment. It's really at the top of their mind. What's the path forward? How do we get there? What if I was to tell you that the answer to this is on the very ground you're standing on? There's a treasure beneath your feet in the way of soil carbon. Now, when I was farming, there was 4 Ds that I really wanted to avoid. One was debt, well, excessive debt, because it stopped you from really expanding your farming operation. The second one was drought. We can't really stop drought, but we can find ways to mitigate through it. The third D was diseases in plants, crops and animals, which really hits your profit and your bottom line. And the fourth D, well, was dumbasses coming up your drive telling you how to farm. And I can tell you right now, that's something I did not like. So I'm not here today to tell you how to farm, but I do have a treasure map for that soil carbon that's buried in your soil. So research shows us that increasing soil carbon increases the infiltration of the rain. Now you're farming here, what do you get? 300, 400 mils of rain? You're bloody magicians if you can farm in 400 mils of rain. But how much of that rain runs off? Increasing your soil carbon by 1% increases the capacity to hold water on your farm by tens of thousands of litres per hectare. Tens of thousands. Also, increasing soil carbon enriches the microbes in the soil. Healthy plants equals healthy stock and crops, more disease resistant. So there was a time when I was farming, and I grew up on a dairy farm in the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. When I was 15, Dad sold the farm and we shifted to a new farm in the King Country, 4.5 hours drive away from where I grew up. It was pretty cool, it was pretty exciting. 6 months later, my dad was dead. My stepmother was an English school teacher, and we were in deep. We had a lifequake event. And so it was overwhelming. But life goes on, and I thought, I'm going to do this and live out Dad's dream. We had a paddock at the back of the farm, and it was covered in weeds. So I got the old Izeki tractor, chucked a 44-gallon drum on the back, bought as much herbicide as I could, put the old sprayer on the back and drove around and sprayed this paddock. Waited for something green to come up, sprayed it again and sprayed it again. Bumped into the neighbour at the back of the farm one day, and he was a real good bugger. He leaned on the fence post and he said, "Boy, what are you doing?" I said, "Killing the weeds." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "You have to look like your soil is a bank. And at the moment, your bank's in overdraft and you're paying interest on it." And it was a real wake-up call. I had to look at new ideas. Had to break the paradigm of the old way that we used to farm. So, what is soil carbon farming? Basically, at Carbon Sync, we have a motto of all tools and no rules. And I'll give you a couple of examples. There's a farmer over in Queensland, similar sized farm to yours, 4,000 hectares. He's been carbon farming now for 5 years, and by carbon farming he's been actively trying to increase the carbon in his soil. He's increased his stocking rate by 20%, he's increased his profit by 50%, he's lost a lot of the problems that he had with insects, pesticides and diseases. And on top of that, on 4,000 hectares, he's taken his carbon from there to there, and he's been issued carbon credits to the value of $3 million. Now, we could all use that, couldn't we? Yes. So the great thing about carbon farming is that you increase the carbon in your soil, it brings all these benefits to your farm, and then you have the credits, which you can sell if you wish, or you can keep them for yourself. Who doesn't want a bit of that? So, as I said, what we do at Carbon Sync is we deal with all the legislation. It's difficult and complex, but we keep the dumbasses over here, so you can get on farming over here. So in front of me we have a cost-benefit report and analysis. And with that, you can sit down and get a roadmap for your farm. Your farm is an individual farm. We treat you like an individual. There's no cookie cutter approach here, remember? All tools, no rules. Yeah. So why don't we sit down, work out how we can make a roadmap to increase your farming legacy and sustainability and resilience. Thank you.